my friends. Jerry Rosa here in the Rosa Stringworks Man Cave. Overwhelmed is the softest word I can use to explain where I'm at. I'm seriously telling you, every single thing I own is broken. It's just unbelievable. I've never seen so many things hit all at once. And the phone rings this morning, and it was Sue. And I said, if it's one more broken thing, I'm ready for suicide, man. I said, don't even tell me. And the furnace is leaking up at the rental house. The water's leaking on the floor. I almost died right there on this spot. I've just never seen anything like it. It's so overwhelming. I've never seen. Yeah, people say, they got 2 or 3 things broke. Well, try 12 or 15 things that are broke. It's nuts. Not to mention all the other projects that I need to get back to, like the water wheel house. And there's quite a few more than that, really. It's a mess. It's a mess. I don't even know where to start. Well, we did have our band show last night, and that went pretty well. It went as well as I guess it could go for a bunch of old codgers, doing the best we can. Hands didn't do too bad last night. It didn't hurt so bad, but they're just stiff. That's the problem with the hands. When they're not hurting, they're stiff. And so, they're just not flexible like they used to be. And so it's still hard to play, but I did the best I could with what I had to work with. Tomorrow evening, Saturday evening, if you're in the area, we are the same band. Well, minus the fiddle player, unfortunately. He was invited, but he can't do it. Tomorrow evening, we're playing at the Lyric Live Theater in Newburgh, Missouri. It's a late 1800s theater, and it's still usable. It's just an old place, but it's a neat little theater. It's kind of cozy. It probably seats about 250 people, roughly. That's just a guess. But it's just a neat old place. So if you're in the area at all or can make it, we'd love to have you about 7 p.m. Lyric Live Theater, downtown Newburgh. You can't miss it hardly. Actually, it's not real obvious where it is. But ask anybody in town, they'll tell you where it is. It's right on the main drag on the front that's facing the railroad tracks if you're down there. So in other words, if you get down into Newburgh and you find the railroad tracks, just look along that line of buildings and you'll eventually see the Lyric Live Theater. Here's a video just because the opportunity presented itself.
Can you see the lizard on the building? I've never seen one this big. Well, I have, but I haven't seen one like this big in a very long time. That thing's at least 8 inches long. That is a huge lizard. Wish I had my hand there so you could see the difference. He's huge. Keep in mind, my hands are huge. That is a big lizard. I'm afraid he'd run off. I'm not afraid of the lizard. They don't bite or nothing. They don't do nothing. He's huge.
Yeah, you don't see them like that very often. It's been a long time since I saw one that big. That is really a big one. We see lots of them all the time that are, I don't know, 2 or 3 inches smaller than that. That one's at least 8 inches long. It might be 9 inches long. And it's just really a large lizard for this area. You just don't see them like that. 5 inches long, roughly, or 6 inches long maybe. Occasionally you'll see those, but 5 inches is pretty common. But longer than that, very uncommon. And to see him right there on the side of the building, so I thought I had to film that. Well, here's the next episode, day 2 of the knife sausage challenge.
Okay, my friends, this is day 2 of the knife versus sausage challenge. By the way, I just wanted to mention that this sausage, for some reason, is way softer than anything we've been using in the past. I don't know. It just is the way it is. Okay, here's the original knife. See, it's not even cutting it. Look at that. It won't even cut it. So if I stab through it, now I'm not saying, I don't know what I'm saying. It's just the way it's been working every time. It just won't, the darn thing just doesn't keep an edge. All right, so let's see if this one will do it. I don't know. It might do the same thing. No, it's cutting through. It's just, this is really soft. This is softer than average. This is even a harder challenge than it would be if I had the other sausage. But at least it's cutting through it. This one's cutting through it. So it's holding, you know, edge a little better than the other one. This one just, that didn't even want to cut it at all. Had to stab through it to get it to cut. So that just shows my example there. Hopefully it makes sense.
Yep. And that, I will tell you, that's a really tough challenge for either knife with that soft of material you're trying to cut through that plastic. The plastic is way harder than the material, the inside stuff, so it just smushes down. But my knife cut it reasonably easy, considering. The other one, it didn't want nothing to do with it at all. So I don't know if I need to even go any further with the challenge. I'm pretty sure that proves the point. And I know tomorrow that other one will not cut it at all. It just won't, the way it's going. And I'm pretty sure mine will still cut it just fine. So I'm telling you, yeah, I guess that's why those butchers use those things and keep their knives constantly worked on those things, because you'd be surprised how fast they dull. And I know most people don't really, I don't know, maybe just don't care that much. It's just, for me, I'm so used to having a very sharp knife. And when I, like I said, I've never spent any time in the kitchen. So when I started spending time in the kitchen, it kind of opened my eyes that these knives suck. They suck canal water big time. They just are not worth a darn. So hopefully she'll have at least a decent knife now that she can cut stuff with. And let me just back up the truck and say one more thing. I'm not really done with that new knife I just made. Actually, the blade comes to it needs to taper more. I don't know how to explain that, but like the thickness of the blade, and then it tapers to the sharp edge. It needs to start to taper further up on the knife. That'll even make it sharper. It's not as sharp as it can be. It'll be significantly better once I do that. I just didn't take the time yet. I was trying to get it done because I had so many other things to do. But one of these days when I get 5 seconds, I'll taper that a little bit more, and it'll even be sharper. Well, here's, in an effort to explain it's not easy to be me, take a look at this. Okay, do you really want proof that it's not easy being me? Well, there's a video coming out you haven't seen yet where this broke. Both of these broke across here, and I put a chain on this to, solve the problem, because they go through ditches, this raises up, and the stiff arm there causes this to break. Okay, that's fixed. That's the only thing that's fixed. This is completely out of commission. These rollers down here, the bearings are absolute crud. I mean, they're just crud. And this one here, in fact, is broken off. The bearing was so bad. So I've got that to fix. The excavator is in pieces. Now, admittedly, this one is by choice. I took it apart. It really wasn't broken. In fact, I took this apart before everything else broke. Wouldn't you know my luck? So I wouldn't have started this project had I known everything else was going to explode.
So that's completely apart, wanting to do improvements on it. The skid steer's parked here for a reason, and that is these arms are normally controlled by this hydraulic. Well, that has quit working. There's a switch up here that I can't show you right now without getting in there, but there's a switch up there that you push, makes those go and work. My guess is that part's electronic, so my guess is that a mouse or, you know, something has gone in there and chewed up the wires. That's just a guess. I don't even have a good guess. This is part of the excavator project. We're not done yet. See this fan? Turn on some light. So this fan is another project that Sue is wanting me to get fixed, I guess for the barn. I don't know what's wrong with it yet. This is in the shop because, like the other four-wheeler, which I don't see right now, the other four-wheeler is leaking gas, will not quit. This is also leaking gas, will not quit. I just can't catch a break. It's unbelievable. This one's leaking for a different reason. This one's a gasket problem. The four-wheeler is just a crummy aftermarket carburetor. There it is over there. So, and it's leaking fuel out the carburetor, and it will not stop. I have taken the carburetor apart and worked on the float plunger a bunch of times, and it won't work. It just, I can't catch a break. I'm just overwhelmed with this kind of stuff, but I'm also overwhelmed because I've got the auctions to do. I've got, you know, an instrument to repair. I just have so much on my plate, not to mention a ton of paperwork that I just can't get to, and the government's on my case about something. I think they want me to prepay my taxes or something, which I haven't never done, and I don't know. I haven't even had a chance to look at it. It's just a pain in the neck. I am just completely overwhelmed. Don't even know where to start. Well, regarding the Subaru engine there, I struck out, at least in terms of just getting a dang gasket. I tried to make another one. I thought I could make a paper one that might work, but honestly it needs a rubber gasket up in there. So I thought I'll go online, try to find them for every engine in the world except that one. Now, I mean, I can find it outside of Amazon, but it was like $15 for one gasket to be shipped to me. And you know, it's ridiculous for just one little tiny rubber O-ring gasket. So on Amazon I can buy the whole carburetor for $19. So that's the option I chose for that. I'm just getting a whole new carburetor. Hopefully it'll work better than that carburetor I bought for that dang Honda. Plus I need to probably buy another one for that Honda because that one there does not work. Maybe I can find a better rated one or something. Just so frustrating to buy something brand new and it just doesn't work. This thing here, if you spin it, it started, but there's some kind of major fire going on inside of here. It was smoking. So I've got her unplugged and taking this apart to see if there's anything that I can figure out. The truth is, once you go inside the actual motor, I probably can't do much. Unless there just happens to be an obvious short that I could figure out. But yeah, this thing's probably on its way to the graveyard. Wow, it's hard to do. So gotta set the camera down and I'll see if I can figure out anything. If I figure out anything, I'll show you. Throw a big fan like this completely away. So as a last ditch effort, I'm taking the whole thing apart. That means I had to take the big grill off the front, which was really difficult actually. I've taken both set screws out of the fan blade, and I have sprayed penetrant all around, and I have put a lot of pressure on that. It's not working, so I've got out the blue torch wrench here. Let's see if it'll, by expanding the hub, maybe it'll come loose, maybe. bubbling out of inside here, so surely it would come loose if it's going to. Holy mackerel. And another thing is these wrenches don't fit this very well. Well, that one actually is going on there now. So I'll have to set the camera down, and if I can get that to pop loose, I'll show you the next step. When I finally got serious about putting heat on there, in other words, I held that torch on there and let that sucker cook. Well, then I was able to finally break it loose, and it took a while. There was nothing else holding it. It was just the old rusty stuck to the shaft. Well, now I got to take the rest of it apart without burning myself, because everything's hot now. That shaft is hot. Probably what I'll end up doing is trying to find a replacement motor for this, because I doubt I can fix this motor, but you know, you can't fix it while it's all assembled. So I'm going to take it apart on the bench, and if there's something obvious, I'll fix it. If not, we'll probably see if we can't find a different motor. Actually, I do see something here that's a little weird. This one coil has worked its way out, or pretty close to out. I don't think it's rubbing. You know, there is a coil there that's very nearly out. A couple of coils, actually. I don't know if that's it or not. That might be it. I don't know, but I doubt I can fix it, because pushing it back in there, I'm probably just going to mess it up. I don't know if you can see it, but there's these little strands of wire that are sticking down in there. They're supposed to be pushed down inside this, and there's several of these that were right at the surface. I've already pushed them back in a little bit. I don't think it's going to do any good, but what the heck, I'll push them back in and try to fire it up and watch it smoke. That's pretty much the way it's going to go. Well, my friends, I'm pretty sure the motor's shot. Just trying to push this back in there, caught on some of those wires and they pulled out, so I'm not even going to bother with it. It's done. It's over with. So now I'm going to look up this motor and see if there's any chance of getting one. It'd probably cost at least $100, if not 200, if not 300. So let's see what we can come up with.
Yeah, it kind of floored me when I found that motor. $715, I think it was, for that motor. And so, you know, that's to get an exact replacement. You know, I could just bolt it right in there and we'd be off to the races. Now, if you don't know what that fan's for, that fan is for the barn, actually. It's the horses. The air in the barn gets pretty hot and pretty still, and especially in an old barn like that we have. And the horses just in there will just start sweating, just standing around. And so it's good to have air moving around in a barn like that. And yeah, I mean, you can get a cheap fan at Walmart and put it up there. And they do last a little while, but they typically don't last very long either when you run them 24/7, you know, that kind of thing. And especially all the dirt that's down in the area like that. Now, that old fan, that thing, those things are pretty much bomb-proof until they aren't. That thing's probably older than me. But anyway, so I just got outside of Amazon to see it. Well, actually, I searched in Amazon. I didn't find anything. So then I got outside of Amazon and I found an exact match, like I said, over $700. Well, I also found another match that is not an exact match, but it looks like it would work. It's got the bracket for the, for the fan to be mounted and pivot on and everything. It's made almost exactly the same. It's new old stock. In other words, it's not the exact same motor at all, but it's new old stock. It's never been used. And they only wanted $60 for it. Well, that's including shipping even, or including taxes, I should say. Their shipping was free. So I thought for $60, it's worth a try. Can I get it wired up properly and make it work? I don't know. It's that motor, the new motor that's coming doesn't look like it has a capacitor, so I'll have to figure out a way to wire in the capacitor that's on this one. Who knows? It's just, I figure it's worth a try for $60. We'll see. The motor looks almost exactly the same, but it's not the same motor. So anyway, we'll see. Well, that's the end of that part. But then here's, you saw in the video quite a few things, but it's just scratching the surface. Like I said, the drain is leaking on the AC at the rental house. So I went up there, took all that apart this morning, and got that opened up enough to make it work. And I think it's going to be okay. I'm going to have to, I sent Sue to town. She's going to town to get some new filters and things, put those in there too, which I think will help because it had been neglected a bit. And anyway, so that's that situation. Well, also in the house here, the air conditioning has been giving me fits. They do have a temporary fix on it right now with some stop leak in the thing, and they're trying to find a new coil for this blower up in the attic. And the problem is that since they installed this, now keep in mind, they installed this new one just a few years ago because they couldn't get the old refrigerant anymore to work on our old one, which was like 25 years old. It had never given anybody any trouble. This new one has been trouble every year so far for like 3 years. And in that time, the government has changed the refrigerant again, according to these guys, and they can't get an exact replacement, and they have to change the refrigerant, everything. Yeah. Tell me that's not some good luck right there. Well, anyway, so that's, and on top of that, it cost me like $600. So, I mean, it just doesn't quit. Just doesn't quit. That's not all. The pond bank up there, you probably saw me in the vlog where I fixed that a month or so ago. Where it was leaking around that tree that the roots came through. Well, I dug it all out with the little mini excavator and, packed it back in there real good. And it lasted for like a week or two, and it was fine. There was no leaking at all. You couldn't see any sign of moisture anywhere. Well, it sprung another leak somewhere. I guess those roots have gone through in another spot or something, and it is leaking profusely now. Yeah, so that needs to be fixed. Let's see. There's more. I just can't think of it all right now. I can't keep it all in my head. And then, as I mentioned, I got lots of projects I want to get to. I mean, like the auction and fixing that Martin guitar and I would like to just do some metal detecting if I could, once in a while, but do something for fun. It's just a mess. It really is. I am completely overwhelmed. Yeah, I need to make shingles. I need to install the shingles. Anyway, I guess that's it. But I did order a new carburetor for the go-kart and a new carburetor for the Honda Recon again, even though the Honda Recon is a brand new carburetor. That's another thing about, people keep always saying, you just need to get new. Well, everything I get new sucks. Canal water. I mean, like brand new air conditioner here on the house, and it don't work. So, buy new if you want. It don't work for me. David Thorpe, howdy y'all. Great play along last night for a group of folks who haven't practiced and played together in a long time. Y'all sure were sounding good. Well, thank you. Yeah, it's probably been over a month since I've seen Beverly. Now, I saw Gary and Don down in Mountain View, but I haven't picked with them since then, Let's see. And David says, but they can't help it, folks. They're just very talented. Great. Oh, thank you. Rod Wentler, remember, Jerry, it is better to wear out than to rust out. Well, I don't think I have much chance of rusting out. I could easily get wore out the way things are going around here. Dottie says, I enjoyed the band last night. Some very good picking with no practice either. Imagine how good you would be if y'all... Yeah, if we could play more often together, we'd have it down. You learn each other and you learn on each song of who should do what, when, all that. It just smooths it out, makes it even better. But that was one of the main reasons we were looking forward to last night, was because we've got our live show Saturday evening. Now, there won't be a lot of people there. Typically, the audience is in the neighborhood of 50 people, something like that. So it's not a lot of people, but 50 is more than none. Let's see. Dottie says, prayers for the country. She's praying for everybody. Thank you, Dottie. Ronald Todd, good afternoon, Jerry and everyone from the West Bank of New Jersey. Sorry, but today I need a hall pass. I have an appointment that I didn't know about. Thanks so much. Thanks to my son. I'll catch up later. Okay. Well, we'll let you go for now. Let's see. David Tharp, just a public service announcement. Be sure and drink lots of water between 11 and November 1st. Okay. All right. I'll try to remember that. Let's see. Bill Rhodes, good afternoon, Jerry. And again, I'm mostly just looking for question marks. If I don't see them, I'm typically skipping over it. Don Nice. Hi, Jerry and friends. Wow, what a great show last night. I can't see it could get any better than that. Yeah, well, thank you. Don Nice, by the way, watch till 12 o'clock and this morning again. Well, great, thank you. Jerry, I only watch your show and the Brandenburger family. Both are great. Yeah, the Brandenburgers, I've watched them occasionally. I tell you, the truth is the girls in the Brandenburgers are pretty good. The old man, he kind of pulls them down, honestly. That's just my opinion. I think he should just... He could play his guitar and do fine and just stay in the background. The girls really do a good job in that family. Bill Webb, I'll miss you live today. We are on the road to Paris, Arkansas this weekend. I'll watch you later. Well, I hope you know how to speak French. Let's see. After we went live, David Tharp says, I was just informed that I was part of the problem. It feels really good to be part of something. Yeah, it's better than being standing out by yourself. Gino Hitch, hi Jerry and friends. Really enjoyed the music last night. You guys were superb. No one could ask for anything better. The fiddle player was definitely a talented musician, but so were the rest of you. Well, thank you. Bill Webb says, okay, we stopped for lunch. Might catch a little of the live vlog. You better brush up on your French if you're headed to Paris, man. Let's see. He says, I missed the music last night because of Vacation Bible School. I'll listen later. Well, good. John Dobrnick says, downsize, Jerry, you'll have more time. Yeah. That's 100% true. Scott Roberts, if you've never tried blindfold archery, you don't know what you're missing. Well, believe it or not, I have tried blindfold archery. I actually have been blindfolded in shooting like that. It's been a long time. I haven't done it since I was pretty young. But like I said, at one time I was pretty good with a bow. Way better with a bow than I'll ever be with a mandolin, I can tell you that. Sidecar Bob, only one species of lizard is native to Ontario, and I don't think I've ever seen one in the wild. I don't know what that would be. Let's see. Simon says, nice to be back, guys. The gay wedding went without a hitch. Mr. and Mrs. seemed very happy. At our age, it was nice to be invited to a wedding for a change instead of a funeral. Well, I'd have to agree with that. Let's see. David Tharp, I woke up at 3 a.m. with a leg cramp. I coughed and threw my back out. I feel like I'm one sneeze away from being, whatever that word is. Paraly. Okay. Let's see. I didn't bring my dictionary, my pocket dictionary with me, so. Scott Roberts, Jerry, I think your plate needs sideboards. Man, I second that one. Sidecar Bob. David, I know how you feel. I was up half Wednesday night with leg cramps. I used to have leg cramps when I was a kid. I don't typically get them anymore, but I had them a lot when I was a kid growing up. Newton Horn, I've got the same problem with my fan. I just ordered a new one. Well, I just ordered a new motor. I'm hoping I can make that work. But for $60, it'd be worth it to get it to work. But based on the measurements and stuff, it looks like it might work, but who knows? I get it. I may get it here, and it may not even be close. You just don't know when you do something like that. Scott Roberts, I knocked over a plant in the kitchen, but my cat saw me, so I had to spray myself with water so I could show that the law applies to everyone. Sidecar Bob, do you have a motor from an old washing machine or something like that laying around? Well, it's just that there's no way to mount it. You know, you need to have those mounting brackets that already made on the motor. I mean, I guess you could rig up something, but it'd be pretty rigged. But anyway, hopefully for $60, I'll have one that'll work. It has the exact mount it looks like. It looks like it should work. But again, you don't know what you don't know till you don't know it. Let's see, GNP, and I know it's supposed to be the other way around, but that's the way I said it. GNP Old Marine Shop, yes, Jerry, and the new refrigerant is flammable. Oh, my gosh. So that'll last a week, and then they're going to come up with something else. The dang government should just stay out of stuff. It's so ridiculous. I mean, the very first refrigerant they had is not a problem. They should just go back to it. I mean, yeah, it's hurting the ozone. Oh, kiss my grits. David Tharp, people have changed. Morals have changed. Society has changed. Churches have changed. But the Word of God remains the same. I will give you that. That's for sure. Zach Rack, loved the music last night. Still have to watch the beginning. Thank you for such a great example of the genre. Well, thank you. Cup of Cool, just take a breath, my friend. One thing at a time, and hopefully you'll get work. Me too. Yeah, that's it. I don't even know where to start on. There's so many things, and there's just so much. It really truly is overwhelming. When I say I'm overwhelmed, I mean it. I really am I don't even know what to do to try to get out from under all this. And Sue I can tell Sue, and she's just like, it doesn't matter. She just adds one more thing. Just instantly. She doesn't even flinch with it. Floyd Countryman, Jerry, a hose blew off of one of the hydraulic pumps on my Hustler mower with no clamps on it. Did Sue's mower have clamps on the hoses on her mower? Well, okay, Floyd, there should be probably, this is just probably, not 100%. There probably is 2 high-pressure hoses on each motor and 2 high-pressure hoses on each pump. And you probably have a motor on each wheel, and you have a pump up in the middle. And those 2 high-pressure hoses, those are screwed in, heavy-duty fittings. So those you can obviously tell. The rest of them are return lines for the most part, or crossover lines or something like that. And they're not high pressure, and those should be clamped on. Yes, you should put a clamp on them and have them on there. Now, it may be that they fitted it with some kind of a hose barb or something, and maybe they didn't feel it needed a clamp, but it certainly won't hurt to put a clamp on them if they're leaking, especially. G&P Old Marine Shop, almost 30-degree drop from yesterday, was 97 in New York. Wow, that's crazy. Bill Mumble says, nice having a fiddle player last night. Yeah, it's always nice if you can have one. Ben Boyd, Jerry, what's your recommendation for the best spray on bug repellent? Arkansas skeeters are terrible. Well, I don't know that I have a good one on that. I'll be honest. We kind of struggle with that same thing here, so I don't. I'd tell you if I had thought something worked real well, but I just use the typical over-the-counter stuff that everybody else uses, and I haven't found anything that really works great. And most of it, I hate it because it just, like, it melts plastic, it melts the finish on your guitar for sure. That's one thing. Kind of glad you brought it up from that perspective. If you're ever out and you're playing at night and, or outside or whatever, and your mosquitoes are bugging you, do not spray that stuff on your arm that's going to be laying over your guitar. I guarantee you're going to be sorry if you do that. It's going to mess up your finish. So there you go. Public service announcement. Scott Roberts, kiss my grits. Made me laugh. Flo, yeah, that did come from Flo, didn't it? Yeah, I remember. What was that name of that show? I don't even remember, but it was a pretty good show. I think it was wasn't it in the 70s or maybe early 80s? It was pretty good. David Tharp, my wife watched my neighbor do 50 push-ups. She said, "Can you do that?" I said, "Sure, I could even watch him do 100. Sky Roberts, Jerry, you could just run away from home. Boy, isn't that the truth? Bert says, cut the bracket off the old motor and weld onto another motor. Yeah, maybe. I don't know if that'd work. But anyway, I've already ordered the motor and it's got the bracket on it, so it's kind of made funky. I guess you could do it maybe. I'm not sure you could. And get, without damaging something is the problem. I definitely could weld it on there. That ain't no problem. G&P Old Marine Shop. R22 was fine. EPA said destroys the ozone. R135 was okay, but they never keep anything the same. Always changing. Leave it alone. Yeah, I agree. Don Nice. Jerry, what a great black and white shirt. Well, thank you. Thank you. Eddie D. I slipped and fell down the other day, and someone asked me, are you all right? I said, no, I'm only half right. The other half is left. Let's see. Gino Hitch. What was the fiddle player's name? Tony Smith was his name. I might have skipped saying that last night. Tony Smith, he's from Lebanon. Bruce Ducker. Years ago, we used to use Aqua Velva and number 2 diesel. The diesel for the skeeters and the Aqua Velva to cut the smell of the diesel. Well, I never tried that one. Mel's Diner. Yeah, there you go. For Flo, I think that was it. Let's see. Bill Rhodes. I think lavender is a good mosquito repellent. Is that correct? JR and Emery have a natural alternative for bugs, but it would also mess up your finish, but not poisonous. You missed mine, Jerry. Bruce Ducker. Years ago, we used to use Aqua Velva. I read that, so that's the only one I see. Bruce Ducker. Going back up. I'm going back up looking for Bruce Ducker. There's no Bruce Ducker on here besides that one. That's what I'm telling you. There's times when this thing doesn't transfer the comments over. There's not one on there. Sorry, I didn't miss one. At least not from what I have here on my list. I didn't miss one. So it was either this software messed it up or Google messed it up or something, but I didn't miss one. Bill Rhodes, was the show called Hee Haw? Nope, I don't think so. Bruce Ducker, Bruce Ducker again. NVM, you got it. NVM, you got it. Okay, all right, whatever that is. Wavy Gravy. Johnny Gimble played a sweet fiddle. Ben Boyd. Flo was a waitress at Mel's Diner on the TV show Alice. There you go. That's yeah. I was going to say I didn't remember a show named Mel's Diner, but I remember Mel's Diner as being part of the show. But yeah, Alice was the name of the show. There you go. Good. Ding, 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 ding. You just won, Ben. Now you get a Cupid doll. Try peppermint extract for skeeters. Bugs don't like it. Neither do cats. Well, guys, I'm going to let that be it. I'm going to do what somebody said there. Just take a deep breath. I think I'm just going to sit down and just try to chill because it's killing me. It really is. It's on my nerves big time. There's so much. And I'm waiting on parts on a lot of stuff, too. It's just killing me. Like they said, the parts are supposed to be here already. They're still not here. So it's like if you could just get one thing done, then you could at least, check that off the list. But nothing's getting checked off is the problem. Bill Momo says we had Alice in the UK. We will see you on Monday. Hopefully I'll get some kind of video out over the weekend, probably about fixing that brush hog because I owe a welder video for those people that sent me that welder. And I did use the welder on fixing that. So hopefully I'll get that video out this weekend. Y'all take care. We will see you on Monday, if not before.